All right, we're fresh off of flight. I'm in my hotel room in Bristol, Connecticut. I'm getting this game recap up a little bit late, so my bad. But quick side note, spending the next couple days at ESPN headquarters. I'll be on ACC Network, their live nightly studio show the next couple nights, so keep a lookout for that. Before we get to that, we got to get to the Big Ten championship. And look, I know it was only a 4.5-point line. Ohio State was favored versus Indiana, but that Big Ten matchup was David versus Goliath. Second most losses in college football history versus the second most wins. No conference titles since 1967 versus the defending national champs. Indiana hadn't beat the Buckeyes in 36 years. And remember, this isn't Washington or Oregon or UCLA. No, Indiana's been in the same conference as the Buckeyes the entire time. So how'd they do it? What rocks did they grab, put in their sling, and shoot at the 8-foot-tall super soldier, it's a tongue twister, that is Ohio State? And I have to start with this, and you could have got this exact same reason if you watched my game preview last week, but it all started with the Indiana offensive line. They were the difference maker, and to give you some stats, last year they averaged 2.0 yards per carry. This year, 4.1. They portaled in 2 guys, which I love that portaled is now a verb. And then they also had a key 6-man in this rotation to make it happen. And their tight end, he's a great blocker too. That effectiveness in the run game kept the Ohio State offense on the sideline and then allowed them, Indiana, to have balance offensively to execute on their timely shots downfield. Rather than telling you, let me just show you. And this is super funny because those of you guys that watched my last breakdown previewing this game, I said Indiana doesn't pull. They do not pull their guards, tackles, centers around. I could not have been more wrong in this game, which if I was a beat writer for Indiana, I'm asking their coaches, hey, what made you pull so much in this game? They saw something schematically versus the Ohio State defense that made them pull in this game. Because I'm telling you, this was not a pull-heavy run game, but it was in this game. They're going to pull 3 dudes here, and I got the back view, which is easier to see, but they're going to pull the left tackle, the left guard, and the right guard all around to the left-hand side. Leads the way for the running back, and man, these backs hit the hole hard, and it allows them to get leverage. When you're not going to have more talent than Ohio State, you can win on leverage and physicality. That's what Indiana did in this game. I'm telling you, the X's and O's nerds in this watching this video, they'll appreciate this, which is, I guess, all of us if we're watching this this video. But anyways, tight end blocking down, left tackle, left guard, and right guard. They're all pulling around. Leads way for this running back to get up in the hole quickly. Big gain versus Ohio State. Didn't see a lot of these chunk runs when watching other offenses take on the Buckeyes. This time, same. You watch this motion. So they start the tight end on the left-hand side, move them over to the right-hand side, and right away, that's a scheme win. They're not just doing that for funsies. They're doing that because they saw something on film, front-wise, that they can take advantage of for Ohio State. Look at how much room is in between the defensive tackle and the defensive end for Ohio State. That's an easy leverage win for Indiana. And I'll show you the back view. It's even more clear as day, but you're getting 9 yards before you even touch them. See, you switch sides, and Ohio State went to this like bear look. Bear means you kind of have the center covered, the guard covered, the other guard covered. But then look at how much room is right here in between right shoulder of the guard and then outside the tight end. That is just a great design of Indiana knowing that, hey, when we get in a certain personnel group, in a certain package, Ohio State loves getting to a certain front, we'll take advantage. And I'll get more into this throughout the breakdown, but this is why I like Ohio State in a rematch, because I thought there was some scheme things that Indiana took advantage of that I don't think they will be able to in a rematch. I think it would be a great game. It's my pick for the national title game. I'm picking Ohio State to win the national title. We're sorry, Indiana fans. If you've been watching for a few minutes, you're like, oh man, I thought this was, we were all going to be positive vibes here. Well, hey, this film is positive, but if you guys see each other again, there's some things here that I think Ohio State could fix. All right, now that I've given the big guys their flowers up front, I got to give Fernando Mendoza his flowers because he won the Heisman Trophy with this performance. He clearly outplayed Julian Sain, but that's not even the topic here. He played like a Heisman Trophy winning quarterback in this game, coming up with big time throws versus good coverage, but then allowing his guys to make plays and timely throws, critical moments. This first one we'll get into is 3rd and 2. I've been slow to roll with Fernando Mendoza, and I don't think slow to roll in the sense of him being the number 1 overall pick in next year's NFL draft. This performance here, silenced some of that criticism in my head. And I won't go super deep into that because there's a whole offseason of NFL draft footage to go down the Fernando Mendoza lane. But right here, this was his best throw of the game. This is Charlie Becker on a skinny post. He's in the slot, vertical, down the field. That's where Mendoza's going to go with the football. Got another vertical route by this slot, and then you got a dig route on the outside. This receiver's coming underneath. He could have taken this underneath receiver coming right to left. It was only 3rd and 2. He's backed up. Shows that Mendoza's got some moxie, got some confidence. It's a good recognition, too, because it's going to be invert cover 2 by Ohio State. They're bringing this safety over the top, and then this corner, I believe it's this one, ends up playing deep half on the field side. It's the accuracy, it's the touch, it's the confidence, it's the moxie to pull this trigger. The timeliness, gosh, that's a huge, huge, huge play. Trust in your dude. And there was no Omar Cooper Jr. in this game, which I think Cooper Jr. is their most explosive receiver. Charlie Becker might have something to say about that with the November he's had. I haven't checked Omar Cooper Jr.'s injury status too, but that's a big deal moving forward if Indiana's going to win a natty. You got those two dudes, then you got Elijah Surratt too. He's more the bigger body receiver. Not that Becker's small, but more. He's got a little more thickness on him. Right here, this is Indiana saying, Ohio State, we want you to go man. And it's Ohio State saying, Indiana, you're not going to beat us with a man beater. Like, we have confidence in our secondary. This is clear as day, man coverage, single high safety. But you got Surratt on a little slot fade. You got a hitch here. You got a hitch here. Mendoza knows he's throwing it to the front pylon before this ball's even snapped. This is just, I got more confidence in my guys than you do. Both sides are saying it. Indiana ultimately comes up big. This is a phenomenal throw by Fernando Mendoza, giving his dude a shot. The touch, the accuracy, and then obviously it's a great catch, but, I go the QB lens there, And then here, the last one, Charlie Becker to win the game, vertical route, bottom of the screen, the confidence, the timeliness. Again, this is gutsy, man. Cignetti said it. They're playing to win, not playing to not lose. Wait, I said that wrong. Not playing not to lose. I don't know. It's late. It's 11:20. But yeah, Charlie Becker, he's a baller, man. He only had 7 catches before November 8th, and he's had 19 in the months since. Well done, 80. I think you're on the fast track to be getting a single-digit number in spring ball real quick. Hey, real quick, if you're enjoying this video, hit the subscribe button down below. Let's see if we can get 60K by the natty. Thanks, guys. Now let's talk about the Hoosier defense. And I love this quote from defensive tackle Tyreek Tucker, who joined Cignetti at Indiana from James Madison. He said, we've got the biggest chip. It started with the G5 narrative. We kind of shut that down. Now it's just a bunch of 3 stars, no stars doing this. Can they really do it? We wanted to shut that down as well and just show the world. And they did. Julian Sain was only sacked 7 times heading into that game, and the Hoosiers got 5 more in this one game. And I got 3 to show you right here, and this is where it gets back into this was Indiana's defensive line putting a lot of pressure on a young quarterback. True, they deserve all the credit, but it's also a young quarterback who just didn't have a good game. Julian Sain's going to watch this film and say, man, I left a lot of yards out on the field. And here is a good example of, you've got a little under route underneath, you got a little post route take in the middle, you got a vertical route in the bottom of the screen. I don't know what the guy on the top of the screen is doing. But then Indiana, and this is what's fascinating, and I wish I would have included the interception that Julian Sain picked or threw, but this is the same coverage, right? This safety who's coming from the backside who jumped that dig route interception during the first possession of the game, they get to that same coverage here. Safety on the top of the screen rolling down. This safety looks like he's going middle field. He's not. And the reason I say that is there's so much green grass right here. But Julian Sain, man, he's like changing the protection. He's coming off earlier on in this game, throwing an interception. He's probably rattled, a little shaken because of the pressure that this Indiana defense is putting on him. And he misses this slot receiver down the middle of the field. It's a clean pocket. That ball's open. He takes his eyes down. I got the back view here too, and you can kind of see it, right? He takes his eyes there initially. He's feeling this pressure inside, which is where Indiana's defensive line deserves credit. You can see his eyes go down just for a hot sec, gets him off rhythm, tries to bring his eyes back up, misses that throw. It's an open receiver, especially in the championship game down the middle of the field. This is where I love the confidence and the moxie of what the Indiana defense brought to the park. This was not just like sometimes when you watch film of teams playing Ohio State, it's just like, let's just do our job. I don't want to mess up. Do my job. Be disciplined. Indiana's playing with some moxie here. They're moving backers around. They're not playing on their heels. They're trying to confuse a young quarterback. So much of it's about like, hey, Ohio State's defense and the athleticism, like, can they confuse opposing quarterbacks? This is Indiana giving them a taste of their own medicine. Check out these two linebackers, 1 and 2. Linebacker on the top of the screen, he's walking out like he's going into coverage and then blitzes from depth and ultimately is the one that'll get credited with the sack. This linebacker, he has a body language. He might be coming, but it's still blitzing from depth. And why that's significant is this is Julian Sayin getting fooled because you got Jeremiah Smith on the top of the screen with a slant route. We love slant routes into blitzing linebackers. This is Indiana defense confusing a young quarterback, Julian Sayin, not recognizing it. He gets flushed to his right, and that's a win and a sack for the Indiana defense. But if I'm Julian Sayin looking ahead to the playoff, I'm saying, all right, that was a rough day at the office. I can be better there. And here's the third sack. They're going to bring a receiver in motion to the top of the screen, or I guess the tight end. Julian Sayin threw a touchdown on this concept to Jeremiah Smith. I forget what game it was. It's in one of the breakdowns we've done, but they put Jeremiah Smith in the slot here. They try to get him one-on-one with a safety and then break across his face. It's great coverage by this safety, but I want Julian Sayin to get off this route quicker. A post route versus a one-high middle field free safety by a slot receiver, we don't like that. What we do like, though, is a comeback on the outside. And protection-wise, Indiana deserves credit because, again, that athleticism in this defensive line gets home to Julian Sayin. I'm not trying to talk out both sides of my mouth. I want to show you, obviously, Indiana's defensive line creating havoc, but also where, if you're from the Ohio State lens, where there are yards left on the field. And right here, I thought Julian Sayin, rather than pulling up so quickly, or if you are going to pull up quickly, get this ball and the comeback on the outside. 1, 2, 3, soft coverage on the outside. It's also the byproduct of when you have a star receiver and everyone all week is saying, man, feed him the rock, got to get him touches. This is the play where, we can have Jeremiah Smith on a touchdown. That gets planted in your head. You might skip a progression or not trust a progression. This was a big-time college football moment. One of those moments of, hey, where were you when Indiana beat Ohio State? It's no longer just a cute little Cinderella story. Indiana's program's here to stay under Cignetti. It's a program who lost more games than anybody, who found themselves in Indianapolis looking around after the dust settled, seeing a giant who they once thought was invincible laying on the ground. Congrats to Indiana. I think we're on a pathway to seeing a rematch.